We got Douglas Lloyd here from Janam Global. But tell us a little bit about Janam.
Yeah, so Janam Technologies, we were founded in 2006.
Mm.
A lot of people coming from the more established players in the rugged mobile computing market.
Mm.
And we kind of had a whole concept that we could produce high quality products at much better pricing.
Mm.
And it was, frankly, it was a challenge, right, to break into a market that was, led by a couple of dinosaurs, if you want to call them that.
Yeah.
Large, well regarded, strong brand companies. But over the 17 years that we've been in business, we discovered that we can effectively create a partner ecosystem that can offer the same type of value. And we have a well-established customer base in all different vertical industries. And this all culminated, which we're very proud of, that we were recently acquired by RFID Global.
Yeah.
And become their mobile computing arm that now ties into a lot of their other product portfolio in RFID, tags, labels, inlays, all types of readers. So it's a very natural match for our two organizations.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, and it's very interesting to kind of see the development of the RFID in the space as well. And I see you brought a device here too, which looks like potentially a RFID reader. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So one is to kind of establish what is the evolution of the industry.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this since 1997 in the AIDC industry, and what we've seen is that it's kind of interesting because you have the advent of the barcode reader, barcode technology, and how people started tagging their SKUs rather than have it on a plain paper, and that naturally migrated. We went from 1D barcodes to 2D, things that are commonly used today. And now now the next evolution is certainly RFID, and we're also hearing things about biometrics, right? Augmented reality or AI. But what we find is that there's still a very strong sweet spot in barcode technology. Matter of fact, there's a number of people that would be surprising if you knew the company names that have said to me, we're still using pen and paper. We need to get.
It's crazy,
barcodes,
to think about. Yeah, especially you look around here and you see all the technology, and you're like, how can somebody be using pen and paper still? Yeah,
it's amazing. And a quick anecdote: we at Janam, when we first started, we were selling Palm OS devices, and that was our niche.
Oh wow! Yeah.
And we sold that device. When we started selling it was an obsolete operating system. We sold it for 13 years.
Yeah.
Right? Because they were happy with it. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that what companies like such as Janam, we have to address the full spectrum. There are people that will walk up and say, listen, I need the latest and greatest in operating systems, in barcode technology, in RFID technology. That's what we have here. So we were very excited because we announced this product here at Modex, called the XR2. And the XR2 is what is in a category of an all-in-one reader. So a lot of devices you see out there in the market today are what we traditionally call sleds. So they attach to a different product. It could be a Bluetooth connection or a wired connection, but there's some other computing device that has to be married to that. And in the XR2, what we have is all-inclusive, so that you have not only a high-powered architecture running in the Android 13 Google Mobile Services certified operating system, but also includes a Impinj E710 brand, their latest and greatest component, UHF reader. And so a lot of excitement. We have not only in our booth here at Modex, but also in our partner booths. And if the early reviews are indicative of what's to come, we're thinking that this is going to be a very successful product for Janam.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's very interesting to see, and it's very cool to see. Can I hold it?
Of course.
Check it out. Yeah. So, so if I'm looking at utilizing this, I mean, how would I utilize this within the warehouse itself? I mean, what kind of functions would I be able to do, and how would it improve kind of my operations?
Yeah, so great question, because it's exactly the type of discussion that we've been having here at the show. A lot of companies naturally have started or continue to be at the barcode level.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of work being done in supply chain. How do I get real-time data, or how do I get more accurate data for my inventory? Or how do I move it from point A to point B? So the ability to combine all different aspects of that warehouse management system. On the display of the device, doing point of activity computing, being able to scan the barcode and or the tag on that item, creates an efficiency where the most common question we've had today is like, I don't know where my inventory is.
Yeah.
I know I have it.
It's somewhere in these four walls.
Somewhere in here.
Yeah.
So, one of the great applications for a reader such as this is that if you know what you're looking for, you can punch it into it and literally go find it, because you have a Geiger counter type feedback where I know it's generally in this area. I might be narrowed it down to 1,000 square feet, and I can literally identify that one item. We just talked to one of the major car manufacturers that brought us that issue, and they fell in love with that product. And that's where I think that's where you see the evolution of this combined technology product. You think about, when I was just talking to some old colleagues of mine, and we were, back, late 90s or 2000s, it was just a barcode scanning device.
Yeah.
And then we started adding technologies. So it has become that need, or the market is looking for something that can handle all different aspects of supply chain management. And it could be in the warehouse, it could be as you're moving out to the docks, as you're putting it onto trucks, all the way to the point of delivery, or to the next customer, where now you have, and you hear a lot of this happening in retail, right, where the retailers are talking to the consumer packaged good companies, making sure they're doing item level tagging. Maybe it's finally getting here, because we've been talking about that for 20 years.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah. But what we're prepared to do as part of our on HID Global's side is that we can literally address any particular issue or pain point, and that's something that as being part of this family, where they've been on a strategy to grow through acquisition and organically. And it's making very strategic decisions on those purchases or those acquisitions. Yeah. And it's worked well, because now we have, as a whole company, we have access to not only a strong sales force, but also strong engineering and the ability to combine those, especially down to our channel partners.
Yeah, and I think that's such a great thing too, to be able to have a great solution and then pair it with those additional resources like you just mentioned, to be able to make it even more robust and get it out to the market and position it just the way that it needs to be is certainly a fantastic thing. And obviously you've done that here with the new device. And I'm curious, like you mentioned there, we've been talking about RFID and stuff for so long, and I mean, where do you think we are kind of on the penetration of that, I guess, into the market of, where, because I think, some of the barrier there for a while was kind of the cost of a tag, right? But now, I mean, the cost of a tag is, significantly lower in the current day. So, I mean, where do you think we are? And I guess maybe based on customers that you're talking to or potential customers, I mean, where are we in terms of, RFID tags really being more widely used besides just like high value type of goods?
Yeah, no, I think, well, certainly there's a couple things that we have to consider. Maybe 20 years ago, the market wasn't ready. I think we all can stipulate that.
Yeah.
But if we look at what's happened to the culture of the world, is that we're all familiar with the use of RFID technology, because we're doing Apple Pay, Google Pay, so we're much more comfortable as a culture to adopt this. Looking at in the industry, I think people have a much better understanding on return of investment of those tags. Now, not to say that tags aren't at the sub-penny level. Yeah. And matter of fact, one of the things that our HID Global looks for is like, where are those high value assets? Yeah. Things that might be specialized, different industries. You might need tags that are almost indestructible. They're used in almost any type of environment. At the retail level, there's always that challenge, right? Because certainly with their constrained margins, that's something that we as HID don't see that particularly as a strong proposition. Whereas when we look at the whole portfolio of products, combined with how do we then provide a solution to these end user customers, and for example, we looked at one consumer packaging company that is all they're interested in is making sure that they know where the pallets are, because pallets are very valuable. Yeah. And so working on a solution, how to retrieve them, how to make sure that I know where they are, or where they are at their customer level, getting them back so they can reuse them. Rather than, I've seen this, in all different types of industries, that it's kind of, a hard task because items are lost, and you can't find an item that just has a barcode on it, but you definitely can find something if it has an RFID tag on it.
Right.
So and that's something I think that people have a much better understanding, as I said earlier, that they can measure that return on, even if it's a tag that, let's say, just for argument's sake, is a $1 tag.
Yeah.
But if their cost efficiency and their all their KPIs are showing that they can actually more than double that, it justifies that outlay for sure.
Yeah, I think that makes so much sense, and I mean, it is kind of it's almost like a perspective shift, I guess, in a little bit, that your mind has to do to be able to see it in that way, because you think, like I'm just adding to the cost of my product potentially, right, by adding this tag on there. But at the end of the day is, with that cost of that product, and then if it gets lost, like you mentioned, right, I mean, how much is that going to cost you, not only in, the value of the product overall. I mean, if you're missing an entire pallet, that can add up pretty quickly, and also just in the labor potentially too, of trying to find that pallet, right? I mean, that's the last inventory of that SKU that you have in your warehouse, and now all of a sudden you can't find it, and you got these orders coming in, like now you're losing customers potentially, like you're sending people to back orders maybe that weren't expecting back orders. There's a lot of potential additional costs that they're kind of almost like phantom costs, I guess, in a sense, that don't necessarily show themselves right away, but then all of a sudden they're going to start to spiral and pop out of control. And so like you said, a dollar to add to that, to take all those potential headaches away. I mean, it's almost like insurance a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's measurable, and I think it's much more measurable, and it's something that I think we have to take into consideration, is that with other types of technology, such as advanced business intelligence, where and I've heard this on the floor here this week, is that that they implemented a new ERP system that's only 70% done, but they're already seeing the benefits of that data.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where I think that maybe that's, years ago they didn't have that type of those touch points and those data points to tell them that even if they're buying it for $1 and adding it to the cost, but they really couldn't truly measure it. And I think with business intelligence tools, that tells you that, like you said, you have labor savings, you have efficiency savings. Literally a manufacturing plant could shut down if all of a sudden they run out of just one part in the whole working process. Yeah. Right. So being able to know beforehand, or not only where the product is, do I have enough of it?
Yeah.
Right. So the inventory management as it relates to WMS is and how they get that information, how quickly they get it, down to purchasing, for example, being able to order that ahead of the time. And I think that's where we see now the advent of real life return on investment that translates into the use of technology that's been around for a while, admittedly. But with all the things that are going on, this aggregation of technology at Wi-Fi level, at cellular level, at the RFID reading level, the operating system, combined with the tools that you see out here even on the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's such a great thing to point that out. And I think the fact that you point out that example, you're missing one part, and all of a sudden you can't manufacture that thing, right? It makes a huge difference, right? And it's a little cost to pay to be able to make sure you don't run into that issue. So very interesting stuff with you here, Douglas, to learn about on the show today. And I want to thank you for coming by the booth and talking to me and letting me see the new device too as well. If people want to get in touch with you guys, what's the best way to do that?
Well, if they're here at the show, definitely come by. We're at booth 13806. But you can visit our site. So there's 2 sites to go to. For Janam, it's Janam, JANAM.com, or HIDglobal.com. And our products are also on that site, which is our parent company.
All right, fantastic. And definitely check out Janam and HID. So thank you very much for stopping by the booth and talking to me today.
Nice to meet you.
All right, good to meet you, sir. All right, thank you.